Nice buns, soft, fluffy, and ultra-low net carbs. Discover Hero Bread, the delicious ultra-low net carb bread with incredible taste and texture. Hero Bread has 0 grams of sugar and is under 100 calories per serving. Plus, high in fiber with 5 to 10 grams of protein per serving. Available on Amazon.com, Walmart.com, and at hero.co. That's HERO.co. Delicious, ultra-low net carb Hero Bread buns and tortillas. Soft and fluffy, high in fiber, and with 0 grams of sugar, up to 10 grams of protein, coming in at under 100 calories. Order today at hero.co and use the code AH10 to get 10% off your first purchase. That's AH10 at hero.co. HERO.co. Order from hero.co now and get 10% off your first purchase with promo code AH10. That's 10% off with code AH10. HERO.co.
Wine and Crime contains graphic and explicit content which may not be suitable for some listeners. Listener discretion is advised. You are listening to Wine and Crime, the podcast where two friends chug wine, chat true crime, and unleash their worst Minnesotan accents.
We sure do.
Oh, hey there. You know what? I did the intro, so I'm introducing myself first. I'm Amanda.
Oh, and I'm Lucy.
We're really mixing it up for you today. This is just a wild one.
Only 2 gals today. And you know why? Because women can do anything.
Yeah.
Including what we'll be discussing today, for better or worse.
So, do you want to let us know what the topic is today?
Oh my gosh. This week we have a very special fan pick from Lindsay McCoy. And Lindsay's topic is lady cult leaders.
Like how I'm leading these flies to their death.
You always have I almost said ladies in your office.
There's always one little guy that's floating around right by my face. I think it's me. I missed him.
Well, lady cult leaders, female cult leaders, I think was Lindsay's original title, but we love alliterations.
Mm-hmm.
So lady cult leaders is it. It is. And Lindsay says, I'd like to dedicate this episode to the Bays, my college best friends. Side note, we chose that name to make fun of all the people who called their partners Bay because we thought it was dumb and the name just stuck. Understandable. One of the girls in the Bays forced us all to be friends with her at one point or another, and it's the only reason we're all friends today.
My God.
If one of us became a cult leader, it would def be her.
I love that. I mean, I would really be lying if I said I didn't, dream about becoming a cult leader.
You kind of are a cult leader.
I have the charisma for it. I don't have the, I would need a co-host because I don't have the financial literacy, the attention to detatel.
You need a new villain. Here I am.
Yes, I'm formally requesting that of you.
Yeah, I'll keep all your secrets.
Ugh, you're such a blessing.
Okay, so also while I was writing my notes, an email came in. So I have a bonus shout out that has nothing to do with Lindsay McCoy, unfortunately. Or maybe it does because this was sent in by Anonymous. So Anonymous says, episode 291 mentioned how your podcast plays in Guantanamo Bay, and I have some info for you. I'm active duty military and I was stationed at Guantanamo Bay and I binged this podcast hard. So yes, your podcast was, in fact, played at Guantanamo Bay.
No
This is the best
way.
email I've gotten in a long time. So Anonymous,
Holy shit.
Anonymous clarifies that they weren't in the actual prison or listening to the podcast in the actual prison, but I'm sure they have administrative buildings and shit. But so
I love it.
Not the prison, but close enough.
Oh my God.
Jesus Christ.
Jesus Christ. That is incredible.
Thank you, Anonymous, for the validation. I love my cross stitch even more now, which I didn't think was possible.
I will cherish that forever.
Yes. Thank you for commissioning them.
Yep.
Oh,
anytime.
I feel like we're off to a really good start, and I think we have a good episode. So
I'm excited.
Keep going to the wine crime pairing. Amanda, take it away.
Full disclosure, I have the wine here and I can prove it because I'm about to hold it up. But I opted to get very, very high instead because my blood sugar has been kind of high today. So I don't want to drink wine and then spike my blood sugar. So
good
I appreciate.
decision.
I can't do it. The wine will send my blood sugar up and away. So I wanted to stay in a safer zone today. So I just got high and then I'm like sequestering myself from any snacks.
Okay.
That's what I'm doing. But I would be remiss. I would be untrue to myself. I would lose sight of who I am as a woman, a lover, a friend.
A sister, a daughter.
A sister, a daughter, a cult leader, a lady cult leader. If I didn't pair our own wine today with lady cult leaders as the leaders of the wine coven. We ladies have our own blood of Christ, blood of your gals, blood of gals. And I'm still just like very much in love with our newer Gals Sauvignon Blanc. Yep.
Oh my God, it's so fucking good.
It is so good. It is limited run. It's available in our 3-pack, which actually also gets it to you at a discount. Mm-hmm. So please head over to wineandcrimepodcast.com and click on our wine tab and you'll get some information. I believe the Chardonnay is still listed because it might be back, but it's currently not in stock. So the only way to get this is to get yourself a 3-pack of the Gals wine. And then you also get the Gals Red Blend. Like, that is my absolute baby pride and joy, considering I, like, created her in a lab myself.
We had a well,
yeah.
I helped.
I know you helped.
I couldn't drink very much of it because red wine upsets my tum. But
exactly. So
I
like
was on the Zoom call.
The Sauv was your baby.
Yes.
The red was my baby, and the rosé was Kenyon's baby for sure. So we each like really got to be super hands-on with this process. And
we had like beakers and shit.
Yeah, it was amazing. So this is just a gorgeous California Sauv. It's like super, super food friendly. She's dry, but you know how Sauv Blanc has that like initial kind of earthy fruit tone. Mm-hmm. So it's not even like semi-sweet. It's like you get a little bit of fruit, but it's balanced by earthiness and minerality. And then it finishes like nice and dry. It's a little bit tart. It's not too grassy, but it's like just grassy enough.
It's like stone fruits and not like fruits. Like it's like pears and apples and not like, you know, strawberries.
Yeah, she's perfect. And like the grapes that you're getting in this wine are grown in Happy Canyon, California, which if that doesn't sound like the site of a cult compound, I don't know what does. So she fits in every possible way. So she is 100% Sauvignon Blanc out of Happy Valley, California. She's 12% ABV. So for a Sauv, she packs a little punchy. Mm-hmm. Which I just love. And she is a popper. So in other circumstances, we'd be popping. Today, I'm just going to set her back down and I will drink her when my blood sugar is under 200.
Great. Well,
but cheers. And,
in
my gummy
theory.
just hit me right in the face. So this should be interesting.
Cheers, honey.
Halfway through reading the back of that label, my eyes like started to cross.
Well, I am going to be talking for about a solid hour, so you've got time to come down a little bit before you're saying.
I'm so happy.
Good. If you feel like screaming, I've got some rage-inducing information, but what else is new?
Great.
So we've had a whole episode on cults, which it was lesser-known cults, which was episode fucking 4.
And actually, both of those lesser-known cults featured female cult leaders because it was Credonia. Uh-huh. And then my cult was like co-founded, but T and Do of the The Hale-Bopp comet, folks. T is
my God, yeah.
the original
forgot
founder.
What you had. Oh,
yeah,
okay.
and she's a lady, too.
Well, this actually, it's a beautiful segue to the main point of my segment, which is, we'll get to it. Here we go.
Great.
So I'm not gonna revisit like basic information on cults, like
because we're experts now.
the psychiatry and all that behind it. But instead, I found some interesting information on how female cult leaders specifically operate differently from male cult leaders.
Love it.
So cults have been in the collective like pop culture mind since the late 1960s when the Manson family murdered 9 people. And kind of on into the 80s through like Satanic Panic, and in the 90s with like Stranger Danger. Mm-hmm. And this like cult leader, the trope of the cult leader, was usually sort of like a white man with long hair and kooky beliefs and like BO.
Basically my fiance.
Yeah. Or blink twice if you're not okay. I love Bill, but I wouldn't call him charismatic necessarily. He's really a live and let live guy.
Oh yeah, no, yeah. Oh no, yeah,
yeah, no, yeah.
No.
So then, like, we think about women in these cults, they're often assumed to be like the doe-eyed followers, like the victims, and the we'll raise your babies and just service you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is from the New Yorker. Quote, male cult leaders sometimes claim droit de seigneur, which means like right of the Lord. Like they can do whatever they want, particularly like sexually and over women.
Uh-huh.
So they claim this right over female followers or use physical violence to sexually exploit them. But on the whole, they find it more efficient to dress up the exploitation as some sort of gift or therapy. So like an opportunity to serve God, an exorcism of hang-ups, like, list out all of your worst qualities and we'll help you take them away.
Yeah, I mean, there's like no better poster child for that than the Nexium guy.
We'll get to Keith Raniere, actually.
Yeah, fuck that guy.
A fast track to spiritual enlightenment. Mm-hmm. Next sentence. One stratagem favored by Keith Raniere, the leader of the New York-based self-help cult Nexium, was to tell the female disciples in his inner circle that they had been high-ranking Nazis in their former lives and that having yogic sex with him was a way to shift the residual bad energy lurking in their systems.
God.
He also later turned that narrative when he got a ton of followers, and it seemed a lot less plausible that all of the former Nazis were reincarnated into these women in the same metro area.
Into the Nexium corporate classes for women cult.
Yeah.
It's the fucking weirdest shit.
It's so fucking bonks, but my bonkometer is going off.
Yeah.
It's lighting up like a Christmas tree. So he later turned this narrative into a program designed to promote self-loathing in the women, and it became basically a sexually abusive pyramid scheme.
Yep.
So it definitely got worse.
Yep.
Raniere is a fucking psychopath. There are multiple podcasts and documentaries about it, but my point is that this kind of hierarchical operation that we often think about when talking about cults, which men at the top, women at the bottom, is misleading. Mm-hmm. Most of my notes came from an article from Bitch Media.
Love this.
Yeah. Key elements of our modern day understanding of cults and their leaders overlap heavily with themes of toxic masculinity, the objectification and commodification of women, control over their reproductive freedom, and a need to demonstrate power at all times. Many cult practices have hyper-focused on controlling the bodies and reproductive choices of women. In this way, heterosexual men are able to use their charisma and power to fulfill their own sexual and predatory desires. Mm-hmm. So, for example, one former member of Scientology's more fucked up branch, which was the Sea Organization, Sea Org, said that if a woman got pregnant and refused to get an abortion, because if a woman got pregnant, they immediately signed her up to get an abortion, she would be separated from her husband and forced into hard manual labor, among other punishments, which I have to think involved abusing them to the point where they miscarried.
I listened to an episode of This Is Actually Happening about like a reformed Mormon who was in the Sea Org because she got like dumped there when she was 13 by her mom who like couldn't take care of her.
Oh my God.
Yeah, the abuse. And this person didn't even experience the pregnancy stuff, but just like the everyday abuse that goes on in there is really scary.
Mm-hmm. Decades of toxic masculinity and patriarchal religious practices have primed cis straight men to seek power and control over women and girls. Outside of cults, people,
Mm-hmm.
this is our culture.
Mm-hmm.
Theology has also often provided an easy cover for criminal and immoral behavior. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Next time you're in trouble, call a crackhead. Not that those are the same, but it's like those kinds of people.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So though women are often barred from outright leadership within a cult, they frequently play critical roles in recruitment, facilitation, and maintenance of order. They are matriarchs, sympathizers, and silent leaders. In many cults, high-ranking women, though not the singular commander of the group, gain, retain, and wield power from behind the scenes. Still, the stories of women in cult leadership are often downplayed, ignored, or otherwise spun to the extent that their power isn't even perceived as such.
Mm-hmm.
So a pertinent example of this would be Ma Anand Sheila, whose name you might recognize from the Netflix documentary Wild Wild Country.
Oh.
It was a group, I feel like they were in Idaho or somewhere around there. They had this massive compound. And at one point they like bust a bunch of housing insecure people from like a different state up to their compound.
Okay.
Just to demonstrate that they had all of these followers.
Dang.
Do you remember this? Wild Wild Country?
I don't remember this.
Girl, you have to watch it. It's wild.
Okay.
It's wild, wild.
It's Wild Wild Country.
The group was technically run by Indian guru Rajneesh, but Sheila was his personal assistant and dictated virtually everything about the group, from what they wore. They had to wear all red.
Mm-hmm.
What they ate, all of their public relations, all of their events, and all of their finances.
Dang.
So she pulled the fucking strings.
Yeah.
In fact, there's frequently a kind of Girl Friday behind bombastic male cult leaders. Jim Jones had Carolyn Layton, who was his lover for a decade and the person who, aside from Jones, was most instrumental in the massacre at Jonestown.
Mm.
Warren Jeffs had Naomi Jessup, who was his favorite wife.
Yep.
And the woman who most often provided counsel during his trial and sentencing for child abuse and molestation. So she covered his ass.
Yep.
At least to his followers.
It's disgusting.
These women, often just girls when they became involved with cult leaders, are indoctrinated in the same way as any other member of the group. The difference, though, is that they can manage to gain some sort of trust with the leader, which can lead to access to power. This is often a method of self-preservation in a traumatic situation. Women who position themselves in this way can be protected from some of the harsh rules or punishments doled out to lower-ranking members. But it can also be about gaining power however they can. They're often tasked with recruitment, even bringing new women or girls into the mix for the leader's sexual gratification. Mm. In the presence of a more mature, matriarchal figure, new members may feel more comfortable or cared for, even though they're not right. Safe. So back to the Nexium side cult, which was called DOS, or Dominus Obsequious Sororium, DOS, which is a Latin phrase that roughly translates to master over the slave women.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
Yeah. So DOS was marketed to women as being a badass bitch boot camp focused on female empowerment, but ultimately it was just another avenue for Keith Raniere to control his followers. He literally branded his own initials on their bodies, somewhere close to their genitals, like on their hips, on their like vulva area, or like their inner thighs,
mons pubis,
yeah, the mound, which is sick. The followers would be blackmailed to stay in the group, and according to one former member, quote, "This blackmail wouldn't have been nearly as effective if it had not been perpetuated by another woman under the auspices of female empowerment." Perhaps it's because women cult leaders are messier. Their narratives are, as Sheila makes clear, not nearly as tidy as men's. These women may seem less dangerous or their stories less salacious. It could also be that because of the patriarchal overtones in typical cult narratives, producers looking for a juicy story don't think to look for women in these roles.
Mm-hmm.
Perhaps the female cult leaders of history haven't been as bombastic or as eager to tout their power. There are likely many stories that will never be told because they don't fit into the typical framework of a cult in the traditional sense. These women will continue to be relegated to the role of house mother, a terrifying understatement of their influence simply because their power is harder to understand.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm trying to say here is obviously there are female cult leaders. I think a lot of the times when we look at a cult and there is an obvious figurehead, it's usually a man.
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes to administration
who's
and
doing the actual work?
Perpetration, it's
entrepreneurship, okay?
It's very commonly women.
Mm-hmm.
Which, I mean, as a woman, I would trust women over men.
Mm-hmm.
And male cult leaders are usually looking for sexual gratification from women. So, of course, they employ other women.
Mm-hmm.
And those women are evil. So, that is my segment.
Amazing.
Kept it a little short because I'm also reading Kenyon's case, and she is a juicy.
Oh, okay.
So let's take a quick break to hear from our sponsors, and we'll get right to it.
Let's da.
The holidays are upon us, people, like it or not.
Yep.
That means food, friends, family, a bunch of people over at your house.
Oh my God, I'm getting anxiety.
Cleaning. The holidays equal cleaning in my mind.
Yep.
Our loved ones can be a bit messy.
Yep.
If it's your mother-in-law insisting on doing the dishes and it's not your normal routine, or like all of a sudden there's 8 children, they all have candy on their fingers.
So why are kids so sticky?
I don't know. Eating in the living room.
Get out of here.
I can't. And more mess equals more waste, typically, but not with Blue Land. Tell us more.
Oh my gosh, Blue Land is the best thing that ever graced my home. Blue Land is on a mission to eliminate single-use plastic by reinventing cleaning essentials to be better for you and the planet. And, you know, like Lucy said, it's the holidays. There's a lot of waste around the holidays. Each year, Americans throw away 25% more trash during the holiday season.
Ick.
Yeah, that's really rough. So this holiday season, Blue Land is going to help you out. They're having its best sale of the year so you can save and shop sustainably for your friends, your family, and you know what? Especially for yourself. You deserve a treat. So the idea is simple. You grab one of the beautiful Forever bottles. I have had these bottles for several years now. You fill them with warm water. You drop in a tablet with the corresponding cleaning solution from that bottle, and you get cleaning. It's that easy. And then your refills start at $2.25. And you don't have to buy a new plastic bottle every time you run out of product. It's amazing. So you can set up a subscription, which is what I did, or you can buy in bulk so that you just don't ever run out of the products that you use the most. I have some delivered every couple months, and it just works perfectly. So I always have a little backup in my linen closet, and I'm good to go. So from cleaning sprays to hand soap, which I have both, to toilet cleaner. I'm obsessed with the toilet cleaner. It like smells really good. I have like the lemon one.
Yeah.
And laundry tablets. Those are incredible, and they're like scentless, and they're really good for like, I don't know if you have like allergies, things like that. I just find it very like mild. And yeah. All Blue Land products are made with ingredients that you can feel good about. So try their Clean Essentials Kit, which has everything you need to get started. This is what we got when we started with Blue Land. And you can get their signature scents like Iris Agave, Fresh Lemon, a personal fave for me, make your whole house smell like a spa, with Eucalyptus Mint.
Yes.
Yeah, honey. And plus, for a limited time, Blue Land's hand soap is getting a festive upgrade with a beautiful chocolate box-inspired gift set with cozy scents like evergreen, winterberry, and peppermint, which are just so fun to have in the house when winter's coming in.
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
So to take advantage of their best sale of the year, go to blueland.com/gals. You won't want to miss this. Blueland.com/gals. That's blueland.com/gals, and treat you cleaning.
Treat it. With HelloFresh, you get farm-fresh, pre-portioned ingredients and seasonal recipes delivered right to your doorstep. So skip trips to the grocery store and count on HelloFresh to make home cooking easy, fun, and affordable. And that's why it's America's #1 meal kit.
Quality is HelloFresh's priority. So these ingredients travel from the farm to your home in less than 7 days, so you know they're fresh. And like Amanda said, they're all pre-portioned. You're not wasting a bunch of stuff. And these recipe cards come with pictures. I'm a visual learner.
Oh, yeah,
and
me too.
These pictures are very helpful. The other night, I made Dijon onion crunch salmon.
Yum.
Yeah, you don't even know. So
This
was over like a creamy, lemony broccoli with spaghetti.
Stop. Yum.
Yeah. It was so good. It was perfect for just like kind of a chilly fall night.
Mm-hmm.
It was so good and it was so easy and I just made it so fast. And as your calendar starts to fill up this holiday season, which it will, you can count on HelloFresh to get you some of your free time back by making cooking simple and quick and honestly really fun.
Mm-hmm.
Each recipe and its pre-portioned ingredients come right to your door so you can skip those trips to the grocery store and frankly a lot of the prep time. It's too easy.
Yeah.
I can't recommend it enough.
A literal baby could do it. That's how I know how great it is. So go to HelloFresh.com/gals65 and use code GALS65 for 65% off plus free shipping. One more time, go to HelloFresh.com/gals65, that's GALS65, and use code GALS65 for 65% off plus free shipping and treat your meals.
Trade 'em. Are you ready for my case?
Yeah.
You're ready, honey.
Okay.
Evelyn Grace Victoria Edwards was born on December 30th, 1921 in Australia. She grew up in a small farming town 2 hours east of Melbourne.
Sure. Melbourne.
Early in her childhood, her mother, Florence, was diagnosed with paranoid schizophrenia after setting her hair on fire in the middle of the street.
Whew. Okay.
She was confined to a psychiatric asylum where she spent the next 27 years until her death. So poor Florence. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Evelyn's father was an itinerant rail yard worker. So Evelyn spent much of her childhood years in and out of orphanages. She eventually changed her name to Anne and married her first husband when she was only 20 years old. He happened to die not long after that in a car accident, and she would continue using his last name. So she's basically completely changed her name at this point to Anne, whatever the husband's name is. The young widow, Anne Hamilton, there we go, moved to Melbourne and developed an interest in yoga. She eventually began teaching her own classes and cultivated a devoted group of followers, mostly upper middle class women. Wow.
Yep.
Through her yoga practice, Anne developed an interest in Eastern religions, and her classes morphed into religious and philosophical discussion groups with others who were seeking meaning and found themselves drawn to New Age belief systems for answers. Classic tale of a young cult.
Yep.
A turning point in Anne's life came when she met Rainer Johnson, a prominent psychiatrist and author who had himself recently developed an interest in mysticism and parapsychology. Join the club, Rainer.
Mm-hmm. Let me see your crystal collection.
Wait, I bet she had an amazing crystal collection.
I bet.
In 1964, he offered Anne the use of his estate on the outskirts of Melbourne, which he had named, I Googled this to get it right, Santinaketan.
Okay.
Santinaketan, which means abode of peace, for use for her discussion groups.
Mm-hmm.
These discussion groups gained a bunch of devoted regular attendees, and the fact that Johnson was a successful and well-respected doctor allowed her to increase her following to other successful professionals. So, like, she had the clout because of...
she came in with built-in legitimacy.
Yeah, exactly. Even though, she wasn't that legit, but that's okay.
Right.
She appeared to be. Soon, Hamilton Byrne and Johnson decided to purchase the adjacent property to construct a dedicated meeting hall for the group. They were expanding.
Yeah.
You got to move up, you know?
Gotta.
They named this newly acquired property, I have to say it again, Santinaketan Park, and they called the meeting hall Santinaketan Lodge.
Okay.
S Lodge.
Sounds lovely.
S Lodge 7.
S Lodge.
Attendance of Anne's meetings continued to grow through word of mouth, and she increased their frequency. So the group began meeting at the lodge, at the S Lodge, every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday evening.
That's a full-time job.
It's too much.
Those hours could pay your mortgage.
Yeah. It's
Like,
just so much time.
stupid.
If you have like a family or like, I don't know, hobbies.
Yeah, no, I'm exhausted just thinking about having hobbies.
I'm exhausted at the mere consideration of leaving my house 3 times a week.
That is too much.
It's disgusting.
Absolutely fucking not. I haven't left my house in like a week.
I went for a walk yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that was maybe the first time I left in the several days. But,
Yep.
well,
I'm fine. I had to put my dog down. I'm giving myself some grace.
honey, you're going to be gone all next week, too. You have to enjoy your home.
Yep, and I'm going to be walking a lot, so I'll be great.
Yep. You'll make up for it. Mm-hmm. An ex-follower of Anne's would later say of her appeal that, quote, in ancient times we hear about enchantresses who could enslave people with one glance. She had eyes that looked through your soul. By the way, I have photos of her on the drive, which will be on the blog. Her eyes are creepy as fuck.
Oh, no.
I mean, she's just a creep. She's just... Look at the black and white one. She just looks... She looks like removed.
Yeah, she looks like Kenyon in Nashville when we made her go.
The day her eyes died.
Yes, when we made her go in the gondola.
Wearing our dirndls.
That is the exact face Kenyon's making in the black and white photo.
And the baby's me just be like, smile, we're taking another selfie. I should put those photos on the drive. I'll put those on so these can be included in this episode.
Please do.
Oh my God. Okay. She was known to say, upon first meeting a potential new recruit, quote, I've been waiting for you. You are special.
Ew. I would run.
I know.
The other way. Be like, bitch, bye.
Like, rule number 1 to being my friend, don't wait for me.
Never. Because I'm gonna be late.
With McDonald's. For myself. Don't wait for me. You'll only be disappointed. For multiple reasons.
Seriously. I love it.
In addition to her charisma, Anne's appearance was also a huge part of her appeal. She's a pretty lady.
Oh, she is incredible.
Yeah.
Siren.
She's got,
her glasses, get out.
Get out. She espoused New Age philosophies from afar, but looked the part of a hippie. She was coldly elegant, with perfectly coiffed platinum blonde hair, pearl earrings, and Chanel suits.
Ugh, give me that cult.
So she was not a white man with long hair and BO.
Yeah.
Many people, especially upper middle class professionals, felt drawn to this glamorous woman, offering them an alternative way of life. Another turning point for the group came when Marion Volimic, the owner of a private psychiatric hospital called New Haven, joined their ranks. Soon, many other staff members and attending psychiatrists from the hospital also began attending meetings, and it's believed that these members then began recruiting from among their patients.
Oh,
so
God.
An actual pyramid scheme.
Yeah, and like the folks at the bottom of the pyramid get more and more vulnerable.
Yeah, they're psychiatric patients.
Yeah, that's so messed up.
It's estimated that at one point, at least a quarter of Anne's followers were nurses.
Ooh.
Nurses, man.
Dang. Can't be trusted. Never trust a nurse.
Never meet a man. Never
meet a man.
Trust a nurse.
Never trust a
shit.
nurse. Shout out to my Aunt Gail, who is a nurse.
I know a lot of nurses.
Never trust a nurse.
They're worse than doctors. Don't get me started on surgeons. So this cult that grew out of Anne's meetings eventually became known mostly as the family, but was also occasionally referred to as the Santiniketan S Park Association and the Great White Brotherhood.
Don't like that.
I don't either. And there's nothing in here that overtly says that it was racist.
Oh, I think you just did.
But
Great white shark is the only way that's supposed to end.
yes, but I'm also putting into consideration this is Australia and they have different
Sure.
issues than America. So
Sure,
we
but,
are looking at it through an American lens. I'm not
We
going
are.
to say for sure one way or the other, but in looking at
But
the
racism
photos,
is international, so
they're all fucking white. So
we can assume
yeah.
that the Great White Brotherhood
Yeah.
might be racist.
Yeah.
Hot take. Risky bet.
I'm just laying it out there.
Okay.
One member
I
of
don't think you need to protect that.
I'm just wary of misinformation. Okay, hold on. Was the family racist Australia?
I'm crying.
Well, the family. I'll Google it later.
Okay.
The family doesn't come up with a whole lot. Okay. One member of the family in particular attracted Anne's attention. A successful and married building contractor named Bill Byrne.
Okay. Love a bill.
Mm-hmm. She made her romantic interest in Bill very clear.
Greeted him beaver first.
I've been waiting for you. You are sexy.
Yish.
So he soon divorced his wife and became Anne's second husband.
Nice. Okay.
One ex-follower would later describe Bill as, quote, a handsome, rich, compliant handbag.
A handsome, rich, compliant handbag.
You need a good handbag. You need a good handbag with a Chanel suit.
Oh my God.
Anne eventually increased the intensity of these discussion groups and began ordering her followers to take LSD
There it is.
in ceremonial rituals that she called clearings.
Okay, I'll clear you.
One expert on the cult describes how, quote, once they were administered the LSD in a dark room, this is so fucked up. Get ready. The door would appear open, and here would be Anne standing there in a flowing white gown. Behind her was a bucket of dry ice, which permeated like smoke, and under the hallucinogenic drug, they were actually convinced that they were seeing the Almighty, that they were seeing Jesus Christ. So they had like
My God.
cheap fucking theater dry
Yes.
ice smoke.
Oh my God.
All these like fucked up people, including children, which we'll get to.
Oh no.
It's like, of course I'm God. You can't deny this. Like,
Oh, holy shit.
how corny.
Corny
has
and
the juice.
super fucked up.
Yeah.
This has the juice. It's corn.
It's God.
This is a big lump with knobs.
Fucking love corn. I'm so hungry. Okay.
I know.
It was in 1968 that Anne began the practice that her cult would become most notorious for, which was acquiring children.
No.
She began, quote unquote, adopting infants and young children and giving them the last name of Hamilton Byrne, her own last name.
Collecting.
Yeah. Some of these children were the birth children of members of the family whom Anne had persuaded to turn over their children to her to raise. Yeah, it's a cute kid you got there. Can I have it?
Sure.
Well, I am God.
Wow.
Give me your baby.
I'm God. Give me your baby. Holy shit.
Works with Abraham.
I mean, fair. Fair. Classic Abe.
Classic vintage Abe. Others were obtained through shady adoptions arranged by lawyers and social workers within the group.
Right. Yeah.
Who were able to bypass regulations to obtain children for Anne. Mm-hmm. This was not particularly difficult as adoption was poorly regulated in Australia and unmarried motherhood still carried an intense social stigma. Mm-hmm. So a lot of women, if you had a child out of wedlock, would be looking for someone to give their child to.
Right. And quietly.
Yep. One source would later state of the power of the family and the extent to which they had infiltrated healthcare and government institutions, quote, "You had babies born in cult hospitals, delivered by cult midwives, and handed over to cult social workers."
Oh.
This was a vertical integration situation.
Yeah,
this was all in-house.
Yeah. This is really
effective.
Yeah. Streamlined.
Like economically speaking, incredibly effective. Mm-hmm. Okay, I hate this part. These children were dressed alike, and when they were old enough, their hair was dyed platinum blonde, just like Anne's.
Oh, that's the deal with these photos?
Yep, children of the corns.
Ick!
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Isn't that fucked? And they all dressed the same.
This photo I will see this right before I die. Some of them look like they have red eyes.
Yeah, I mean, this has to be what Children of the Corn was basically based on.
Okay.
And not only do they all have blonde hair, they have awful haircuts.
Yeah, it's abuse.
It's not great. All these kids were homeschooled on a new property that Anne had acquired that she called Kai Lama, which was commonly known to the members of the family as up top. Up top.
Down low.
Mm-hmm. Too slow.
Got me.
You're such a good mom. You got me. Mommy needs her juice.
I'm so high.
I know.
Oh my God. Okay.
So like the other properties the family operated on, up top, down low, too slow, was in a secluded location on Lake Eildon, about 3 hours from Murber, meaning that their activities could go unnoticed. Very isolated. Mm-hmm. It would later be revealed that one of the family mottos was, oh God, this is so creepy, unseen, unknown, unheard.
I feel like that's something that like my mother would angrily whisper below her breath at like a nice dinner if I was acting out.
Unknown.
Unseen, unknown, unheard. Now, will you tell the server your order, please?
Eat your salad first.
Unseen, unknown, unheard.
I'm going to get that tattooed on me.
Oh, no.
I love being unseen.
It's true.
Depending on the circumstances, I love being unknown. Mm-hmm. And the reason my voice is so hoarse is because you're the first person I've talked to today. So I'm literally unheard.
Oh my. I am the only one bearing witness to your very existence today.
Literally, yes.
What an honor.
Actually, no, Elizabeth called me once. That's it.
Okay.
And I did text my Wordle result to the group chat. But
that's
other than
true.
that.
You did.
Other than that, that's it. At one point, it is believed that there were at least 28 children living at Up Top, Down Low. All of the children were told that Anne was their biological mother, and they were instructed to refer to the other members of the family as aunties and uncles, even if it was their own parent.
Ew. Well, some of these kids are considerably old enough at the time of adoption, it would appear, to know who their parents are.
Yeah, but I mean...
like, they weren't all adopted as little babies.
No.
So that's, like, compounding the trauma of this whole situation to be, like, conscious of who your parents are and then being told, oh, no, you have to call this random lady who's bleaching your hair mother. Mm-hmm. It's just freaking me out.
But it's also possible that, like, if they lived with their own parents till they were like 8 or 10 or whatever, then they were being indoctrinated in the same style of bullshit before they were actually transported to up top or whatever.
That's true. I don't know. The whole thing is freaky.
It's super freaky. So the children's schooling, which was done by a group of aunties who lived with them at up top, was almost entirely religious, consisting of an eclectic mixture of Christianity and Hinduism. However, the true basis of the family's belief system and what was taught to the children in turn was that Anne Hamilton Byrne was the reincarnation of Jesus Christ and herself a living God.
Now take this LSD and watch me turn on a fog machine.
Right.
And what you're about to see is going to blow your mind. Let's go.
Don't believe me? Take this pill.
Take this pill.
Suck on this stamp.
Oh, my
Wait about
God.
90 minutes, and I'll meet you in that dark room. It's that simple. Don't ask questions. She described herself as similar to Buddha or Krishna, an enlightened being who was put on earth by God to help humanity and was known to refer to herself as Jesus reborn as a woman. Okay. She told the children that they would survive the end of the world to become a new master race. There we go. There's the racism.
Uh-huh.
The children had little reason to doubt this, as they were almost entirely denied access to the outside world. And two, in respect with what you were saying, it's not clear to me how long they were denied to the outside world. So maybe these older kids were a little bit different than the younger ones. I don't know. They were raised almost entirely by these aunties, with occasional visits from Anne and Bill. They believed Anne to be descended from royalty, so based on the stories she had told them of growing up in castles in England, and they desperately vied for her approval. So these kids are being
creepy.
They're being groomed
Yeah.
intensely. They're totally closed off from any other worldview.
Right.
I don't think, even though some of these kids are older, I think it's a lot easier than one would think to be fully indoctrinated.
Right.
Yeah. But the children were given very little love and approval, either from Anne or from the aunties. So they're also being abused.
Yeah.
They were subjected to beatings and starvation diets if they talked back to or questioned any adults. And the beatings carried out by Anne herself were particularly severe. They didn't want to piss off their mom.
Oh, my God.
One of the children who grew up at Uptop would later describe how, quote, there was only one rule: do absolutely everything Anne said. That included what to think, what to wear, what to eat, total obedience. Another recalled that, quote, denial of food was a very large component of control. It's better to keep your victims weak so they have less ability to fight back. This survivor went on to describe how she would often be so hungry that she would sneak off to the woods to eat leaves.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, that was really bad. And then, here we go. The children were also regularly dosed with psychiatric drugs, mostly sedatives and antipsychotics. When they reached the age of 14, they were compelled to undergo an initiation ceremony that involved being given a massive dose of LSD.
Oh, my God.
Which, like, at a certain point, that breaks your brain.
Yeah.
Like, you can do so much LSD that there's really no going back.
Mm-hmm.
In the late 70s, Anne became interested in the teachings of a yoga guru named Swami Muktananda, who ran an ashram in upstate New York. Taking some of the children along with her, she began making occasional trips to the Catskills to visit him. So she'd travel all the way to the U.S.
Okay.
And eventually decided to purchase her own property there to set up a U.S. base for the family. As Anne's wealth and influence grew, the children were also growing older, and Anne and the aunties were struggling to control two of them in particular: Leanne, who made numerous attempts to run away, and Sarah, who was consistently rebellious and argumentative. So some of the older kids are questioning.
But yeah, pushing back a little bit.
Leanne eventually succeeded in fleeing, and Anne decided to, quote unquote, expel Sarah in 1987 when she was 17 years old. Sarah was able to reunite with Leanne because both girls were taken in by local families, and together they decided to go to the Victoria police. Leanne had made previous attempts to go to the police, but she was not taken seriously because she's a young woman.
Mm-hmm.
Together, the girls, who both still believed Anne to be their biological mother, were able to give convincing enough accounts of the abuse they had suffered that the police planned a raid on the Uptop property.
Okay.
The raid took place on August 14th, 1987, and all of the children were removed from the premises, but incredibly, not one single adult was arrested, even though numerous aunties as well as Bill Byrne were present that day.
What?
But Anne was in the Catskills. No adults were arrested. They just took the kids.
Fuck.
All of the adults were allowed to walk free pending further investigation, and Bill fled to the U.S. to join his wife like a fucking coward.
Mm-hmm.
The children were placed in group homes and foster homes and struggled to adjust to the outside world and to the reality that Anne and Bill were not their actual parents.
Yeah, that's a lot of trauma.
Can you imagine going through all of that and then just being put in a
Taken
foster home and actual society?
Like the culture shock would be completely devastating.
It would be as traumatic
as their upbringing. It would take a lot of care and patience and help to reintegrate those children into modern society.
And this is 1987, so do we think that they got that support?
No.
No, I doubt it. One child who was a teenager at the time of the raid described how, quote, "It's hard to say how devoted we were to her, how we hung off her every look and every thought she had about us. We wanted so much for her to love us. I don't think she ever really did." Anne and Bill Hamilton Byrne decided to lie low in the Catskills, where they would remain for the next 6 years.
Wow.
A lengthy investigation called Operation Forest, which involved police from Australia, the UK, where Anne also owned property, and the US, worked to gather evidence of the family's illegal activities.
Okay.
This investigation culminated in 1993 with Anne and Bill's arrest by the FBI in the Catskills and then their subsequent extradition back to Australia.
Mm-hmm.
They were charged with conspiracy to defraud and commit perjury by falsely registering 3 unrelated infants as triplets that Anne had given birth to.
Holy shit. Yeah.
So they just had 3 babies of a similar age. They're all siblings and they're all Anne's. Oh my God, it's so fucked up. Okay. These charges were eventually dropped. Instead, they pleaded guilty to a remaining charge of making a false declaration and were fined $5,000 each.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want to get mad, here we go. This is the only punishment Anne would ever face.
For all of it?
For all of it.
A $5,000 fine?
Yep. And a charge of making a false declaration, which she served no time for.
Oh my fucking God.
According to Lex Mann, a lead detective on the case. Of course, that's an Australian detective, yep. Lex Mann.
Way to go.
Oh my God. Australian police had failed to achieve justice for Anne's victims because they did not take crimes against children very seriously. According to Mann, the attitude of his colleagues at the time was that cases involving children were welfare matters, not real policing.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Right. Victims have attempted to pursue financial settlements from Anne for the abuse they experienced. Anne had amassed an estimated $150 million through property, land, and cash donated by her followers.
Damn.
But there was very limited success of these attempts for these settlements.
Mm-hmm.
The children who grew up at Uptop were left with deep psychological scars. Many of them have attempted suicide, and a few have died by suicide.
Oh.
A few even maintained a relationship with Bill and Anne because they were the only parents they had ever known.
Oh,
These
God.
kids are like totally unmoored.
Yeah.
In 1995, Sarah Hamilton Byrne, who changed her name to Sarah Moore, published a book about her experiences at Uptop and her struggles to move on with her life. After her expulsion and her instrumental role in bringing down the cult, she went on to study medicine and became a successful doctor.
Oh, amazing.
Not as bad as nurses.
Yeah. Can't trust them.
However, she struggled greatly with PTSD after she left the cult and sadly passed away. at a pretty young age of heart failure in 2016.
Oh, God.
And here's a weird side note for us. Speculation emerged in the mid-2000s that WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange had grown up in the family.
Whoa.
When asked about it in an interview, Assange admitted that a man who his mother had dated in the 1970s had been a member of that cult. He described the man as, quote, a sinister presence who tried to have a certain psychological power over his family, and his mother eventually fled the relationship.
Whoa.
Assange clarified that he had never met Anne Hamilton Byrne or spent any time at Uptop, but he's like a really
It's really close.
close proximity to it.
Yeah.
Anne Hamilton Byrne died in Melbourne in 2019. I am so not confident with how to say that. At the age of 98. I'm fucking nailing it. I'm so tired of talking. She died at the age of 98 after living in a care facility for 14 years with severe dementia. Boo-hoo.
Ugh.
Okay, going back to Lex Mann, who spent years being enraged at the lack of justice Anne faced for her crimes, stated in an interview that, quote, the normal reaction when you receive the news of someone's death is one of sadness. It's quite the contrary for me today. Today was a great day in that she is now dead. She can rot.
Woo! Lex Mann.
He's literally Mr. Man.
Spicy. Mr. Man.
So that is the story of the horrifying basket case who was Anne Hamilton Byrne.
Wow.
And the family, and these photos are so fucking creepy, and I'm finding that picture of Kenyon at CrimeCon.
Amazing. Well, while you find that photo, should we hear a word from our sponsors?
Let's do it. Picture this. It's 5 p.m. You're showered. You're ready to go. Your bathroom's clean. Your guests are arriving at 7. Dinner's coming along nicely. You're like, oh my gosh, for once I planned this out right. And all that's left to do is put the salad together. And oh my God, you forgot the bread.
No!
It's always something. But wait, it's all good because guess what? You remember that you subscribe to Wild Grain, so you always have delicious, ready-to-bake bread on hand.
Y'all, Wild Grain has changed my entire world, okay? Wild Grain is the first bake-from-frozen box for artisanal bread. Plus, they have amazing rolls, pastries, even handmade pastas. I've tried all of the above.
Cookies.
Oh, they're so good. Wild Grain uses only clean ingredients such as unbleached and non-GMO flour and utilizes a slow sourdough fermentation process that's healthier for you and tastes better than anything you can find at a grocery store. And like what you get in a grocery store is not fresh out an oven, people. Every item bakes from frozen in 25 minutes or less. So when you do have those last minute, oh my gosh, I forgot the bread moments. No, honey, you've got the bread. It's coming. And plus, for every new member, Wild Grain donates 6 meals to the Greater Boston Food Bank. They've donated over 120,000 meals so far, which is incredible. And this holiday season, Wild Grain is featuring delicious new limited time sweet treats such as pumpkin cinnamon rolls, yum, orange cranberry biscuits, and, oh my God, chocolate avalanche croissants.
Sign me up.
I am immediately ordering those chocolate croissants because I got just the regular, like, flaky, buttery croissants in my last Wild Grain order.
They're so good.
I ate all of them in one sitting, you guys.
No.
I did. I baked them and I like left them on the counter. Was like, Bill, good morning. Look what I made. And he had like one. And then I, throughout a few hours, just kept going back and grabbing another one. I couldn't stop myself. They're so good.
Your body needs what it needs.
My body needs what it needs, and I'm going to let my body have it. So all you have to do is sign up at wildgrain.com/gals and choose which type of box you want to receive and how often. It is so easy to reschedule, to skip, or to cancel. What are you waiting for? Tell us how to do it again, Lucy.
Hungry already?
Yes!
For a limited time, you can get $30 off the first box plus free croissants in every box when you go to wildgrain.com/gals to start your subscription. You heard me. Free croissants in every box and $30 off your first box when you go to wildgrain.com/gals. That's wildgrain.com/gals, or you can use promo code GALS at checkout and treat your body.
Treat it.
Using Talkspace feels a little bit like having a tiny little homunculus mental health professional in your pocket.
Yeah.
Dr. Wagner in your pocket. Talkspace offers both therapy and psychiatry, and being able to reach out to my provider anytime, anywhere, makes taking care of my mental health super easy. It's millennial approved. Mm-hmm. It frankly just reduces my anxiety in and of itself, just based on its function.
Yeah, just knowing it's there.
I'm more relaxed when I'm traveling. Traveling is always a big trigger for my anxiety. Mm-hmm. Knowing that if I need to talk to my therapist, I can just send her a message from wherever I am. Working through things in therapy can be tough, but connecting with my therapist is not with Talkspace.
On our road trip, you're going to be texting in the passenger seat, and I'm going to be like, who are you talking to? And you're going to be like, no one. And you're just going to be dumping on your therapist about how I'm driving you insane. And I'm so glad you have that resource for you.
I do.
Yes, and I wholeheartedly recommend Talkspace for therapy. We know this. You know I use it. You know I love it. You can sign up online and get a personalized match with a provider that's right for you, typically within 48 hours, which is so crucial because a lot of folks wait until they're in crisis to seek out therapy, and then it can take months to get in with a therapist. And this way you can, start accessing somebody much quicker, and you can text, you can video chat, you can send voice messages to your licensed therapist. So it's incredibly convenient, it's super versatile, and you can have virtual sessions from the comfort of your home. I love it. The Therapist Network, too, is so extensive. They have thousands of licensed therapists with years of experience, over 40 specialties. So if you're like me and you struggle with depression or anxiety, if you struggle with substance abuse, trauma, check, anger management, sometimes while driving, check, relationship issues, food and eating, so many things that we all as just human beings face at some point in our lives can be addressed with the Talkspace Therapist Network, and it is super secure. It is private, using the latest end-to-end bank-grade encryption technology to store client information and complying with the latest HIPAA regulations.
So as a listener of this podcast, you'll get $100 off your first month with Talkspace when you go to Talkspace.com/gals. To match with a licensed therapist today, go to Talkspace.com/GALS to get $100 off your first month and show your support for this show. That's Talkspace.com/gals, and treat your brain.
Treat it. Y'all know I have done everything to get silky, strong, healthy hair and
Blue hair.
Y'all, when I say everything, I mean everything. Not only have I literally purchased it to apply to my head, I've put freaking egg yolks and avocados. I've made an entire egg salad on my head. It's a mess, girl. It is a mess up there.
Plus the really expensive stuff that you always try too. It's worth it? No, usually not.
It's really hard to find a good product for hair health and hair growth. So if you are tired of these ineffective hair treatments and are hungry to try something that's not putting egg salad on your head, speaking of hungry,
yum. Though.
I know, right? Give Vegamore a try like we did.
Yes, Vegamore has transformed our hair. Their clean and vegan approach to hair health uses smart botanicals that promote visibly thicker, fuller, longer-looking hair. With help from Vegamore, get healthy, beautiful-looking hair without the use of harmful chemicals. All of their products are cruelty-free and never contain potentially harmful chemicals like parabens or hormones. If I use my Vegamore system for a while and then I don't, it's extremely noticeable.
Yeah.
It just feels, when I'm using
not
Vegamore,
as lush, not as silky.
Yes, when I'm using Vegamore, it just feels thicker. It feels healthier. It feels lighter because there's not a bunch of plasticky
build up.
Yeah, just that kind of gunk that you don't really know what it is, but it doesn't feel great. Vegamore has something for everyone looking to improve their hair health. Their Grow Revitalizing Shampoo and Conditioner Kit works together to create visibly thicker hair and improve hair from the roots. You just massage that shampoo into your scalp for 60 seconds. Maybe use their rubber scalp massager, which I love.
It's my favorite thing. It's like being in the spa every time you get in the shower.
Yeah, it's like somebody else rubbing your head, and that is one of the best feelings.
It is.
That this earth has to offer. Mm-hmm. Then you just follow up with the conditioner on the lengths and the ends. It is as simple as that. Having Vegamore as my go-to shampoo and conditioner is a game changer for my overall hair health. I also use their serum.
Yes, I love the serum. Like massaging it into your scalp is such a treat.
It is, and everything smells really good.
Yeah.
So it's like it's not only good for the results, but it's a treat,
Mm-hmm.
like Amanda said, to just do it in the first place. Mm-hmm. With Vegamore, there is no risk when trying because they have a 90-day money-back guarantee. But with 91% of customers saying they saw visibly thicker hair with Vegamore in just 3 months, you're not going to want to run out.
Absolutely not. So give your hair exactly what it's been craving with Vegamore. Go to vegamore.com/gals and use code GALS to save 20% on your first order. That's vegamor.com/gals, code GALS to save 20% at vegamore.com/gals and treat your hair.
Straight up.
Well, are you ready for my case?
Sure.
Please try to refrain from asking me any questions.
Noted.
So it feels like the golden era of cults was like the 60s through the 90s, but today we get kind of like a millennial cult story.
Ooh, yay.
I know that we've mentioned this, well, the outcome of this before, but we haven't fully covered who this person was or this cult. So,
Okay.
Amy Carlson was born before the era of social media in Kansas on November 30th, 1975, but her family moved to Dallas, Texas shortly thereafter, and she was raised in Dallas. Because this was pre-social media, not a lot is known about Amy's early life. What we do know is that she was a straight A student. She was involved in the school choir and was just like a totally normal gal. She married young, had a kid, got divorced, married again, had another 2 kids, got divorced, and married a 3rd time by like her early 20s.
Good God.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
It's a whole lot. She worked as a manager at a Texas McDonald's and was still like involved in her children's lives, but there's testimony from her family that said that she was very minimally involved in their lives. Like they barely have any relationship with her at all.
Oh, okay.
So she worked as a manager at a Texas McDonald's, and despite not really having a relationship with her kids, she's like still a normal person in society at this point.
Okay.
But things started to get weird when in the early 2000s, Amy found like community online and dove into the world of alternative spirituality. So like New Age.
Okay.
So what started as a seemingly innocuous look into New Age religion served as more of a gateway drug into weird conspiracy theories. She was spending a lot of time on the forum lightworkers.com, where she met an alleged spiritual guide who went by Amaranth White Eagle.
Lots of whiteness in this episode.
Well, yes. Well, cults and racism and anti-Semitism, it's all like there's a reason why cults are predominantly white.
Yeah.
It's important to note that Amaranth White Eagle is appropriating indigenous culture and is white, is not indigenous or Native American.
Got it.
This is just what he's calling himself. So White Eagle convinced Amy that she was a divine being, and she agreed, telling him that she had had some unexplainable paranormal experiences, and this must explain why, because she's a divine being. So newly anointed as a divine being on the internet by a guy named, Amaranth White Eagle, white man.
Right.
She suddenly leaves her entire life. She leaves her job. She leaves her family. She moves to Colorado from Texas to be with White Eagle. She alienated herself from everyone she knew. Like, she had never met this man in real life. She just met this guy on the internet, got totally sucked in, like divorced her husband and left everything.
So now she has divorced her third husband.
Yep. Okay. And she's picked up and moved to Colorado.
God.
So she alienated herself from everyone she knew, and together with White Eagle built a new community that went by the Galactic Federation of Light. Eventually, they changed this to less of a mouthful name, Love Has Won.
Oh, I've heard of this bitch.
Mm-hmm.
God damn it.
And Amy and her followers would take to YouTube to proselytize their teachings.
Mm-hmm.
She claimed to be a 19 billion-year-old being who had birthed all of creation and started to go by Mother God.
Oh, and she's a fucking crazy.
Oh, yeah. Over the course of her 19 billion years, she had lived as Jesus, Joan of Arc, Cleopatra, and Marilyn Monroe. Her purpose was to lead those who believed into a mystical fifth dimension. Love Has Won believed that ordinary people were in a state of 3D consciousness, while members of the group had transcended to the higher level of 5D consciousness. G5 phones. But just in case this wasn't bonkers enough, the group also got deep into QAnon conspiracies.
Yeah.
She proclaimed that Donald Trump had been her father in a past life and adhered to the racist and anti-Semitic belief in cabal and this like cabal that ran the world and, quote, determined to keep the planet in a low vibration state.
Oh my God. The vibes were off.
The vibes were off, says this racist lady. So this is a quote from Insider. Love Has Won had around 20 full-time members living together, but it also reached a large audience online that would watch the daily live streams, purchase its products, and donate money. Videos posted online often amassed thousands of views. To sustain the cult and its 20 or so members, they did these daily live streams and sold, quote, supplements and, quote, services.
God.
One such service was an etheric surgery, which for $88 a session could, quote, remove sickness and negative energy from the body.
And is this a surgery she sold online?
Yes.
Okay.
And here I've been spending thousands on diabetes management when all I needed was etheric surgery.
Idiot.
Boy, was I blowing it.
Moron.
Moron.
Dumbass.
I'm taking the dog, dumbass. So Amy also got super behind the alleged benefits of our favorite product, colloidal silver.
Oh, our favorite product.
Yep.
Well, Alex Jones just needs to sell $1 billion worth of that to pay off those victims.
Yeah, either sell $1 billion worth of it or drink $1 billion worth of it. Alex Jones, you choose. So yeah, this gal is super credible.
Yeah.
So the cult may have been small, but it certainly made an impression in the community because it was like so many people were watching these videos nationwide. So from Wikipedia, quote, ex-members accused the group of physical abuse and sleep deprivation, with members allegedly only being allowed to sleep for 4 to 5 hours a night.
Ugh.
Mm-hmm. Sagachi County Sheriff's Office reported that they had received many complaints about the group from families about brainwashing and fraud. In May of 2020, a member of the group was found wandering the wilderness, disoriented, naked, and dehydrated after being described by the group as lacking the right energy and, quote, being on the wrong side of the mountain.
Oh, what? This is so bonkers.
So let me put that wrong side of the mountain remark into context for you to really paint how bonkers it was. Okay. One of the tenets of this cult is that they were descendants of the lost continent Lemuria, and that Amy was queen of the Lemurians.
Queen of the lemurs.
The lemurs. And they believed that the remaining Lemurians lived inside of Mount Shasta in California.
I love Shasta.
I know, so gorgeous. So if you're from the wrong side of the mountain, it's like the remark means you're not a Lemurian, which is like a deep insult within the cult.
Ugh.
I hate it.
You're no Lemurian.
Yeah.
Get out. Scram. Can't you see
Can't
you're
you
not
see you're not wanted anymore? Go on, leave. Just go.
Just go.
Harry and the Hendersons is my favorite.
It's the gift that keeps on giving.
I love it.
Such a
Fucking
good
John
film.
Lithgow. Okay. Just go.
Just go. Can't you see you're not That scene always made me cry. It's really
So sad.
traumatizing.
It's so fucking sad. Holy shit. Okay. Whew, I got this. So members of the cult would come and go, mostly because of Amy's abusive behavior. Although she had banned drug and alcohol use within the cult, she herself was often high and extremely drunk. She was also regularly in sexual relationships with multiple members of the group, which isn't an issue by itself, but this was definitely to cultivate a power dynamic and manipulation. She's using it in the classic male cult leader sense of the way. Mm-hmm. A former member told Insider, quote, she would use people sexually. She would say, this person is ordained to be my partner. And she would have sex with that member and then later decide, well, you were only a temporary ordained person. Now I'm going to move on.
Ouch.
Yeah. Dumped.
Classic breakup line.
Yep. There is plenty of evidence in their videos all over YouTube of abusive, threatening, racist, and anti-Semitic behavior. Mm-hmm. In one completely unhinged video, Amy is screaming at one of the cult members for bringing meatballs instead of chicken parmesan to their communal dinner. Just screaming at him on live.
I'd be overjoyed with meatballs.
Meatballs are delicious.
I would take meatballs over chicken parm anyway.
I'm telling you, big hard same. Mm-hmm. In another video, she's visibly drunk, verbally abusing members and shouting, I'm fucking God, you fucking whores.
WWJD.
Yeah. IFGYFW.
Let's make rubber bracelets.
IFGYFW. I'm fucking God, you fucking whores.
Oh, what does your bracelet stand for? I'm fucking God, you fucking whores. Okay.
Okay, bye.
Okay, bye.
So, by 2020, Amy's mental and physical health were taking a massive dive. She was barely eating, and her drinking had gotten really bad.
And the pictures I've seen of her, like in these later videos, she looks emaciated.
She is skin and bones.
Yeah.
I mean, she's not sleeping and she's not eating, and the only calories she's getting are from alcohol and like colloidal silver.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
That's a bad combo.
It's not good. So one former member recalled, quote, I doted on her and tended to her every need. She drank 10 shots of vodka a night. When she would drink at night, she would lose her cognitive abilities and she would fall and walk into walls.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah. So she was the worst.
Yeah.
She was messed up, but she was also the worst. And to like paint a picture of I just don't get how anybody ended up following her. Cause like, okay, this is a quote that's like from a screenshot of one of her YouTube videos. And this is the message that she was putting out. Like this is part of her about me, basically.
Her Twitter bio.
Yep. It says, hello, loves. I am Mother God. For quite some time, you have been praying that I come back to help you. Because of that, I decided I had enough of the dark forces kidnapping my planet and my children. So here I am in the flesh. I was born on November 30th, 1975 in Kansas, USA. This is my 534th reincarnation and my quest to recover my beloved planet, the center of the universe, and the first planet I created. They tried to assassinate me 589 times this lifetime, but love has won. I love you. I've done my part, and now you have to get a move on because you wasted eons thinking you had a life under the manipulation of the cabal who used you like cattle. Yikes. Get a move on because this planet is ascending and you need to reconnect with Prime Source Creator, me, so that you can ignite your light bodies and can protect you again. You are either with me or against me. The experiment of free will has been declared a failure. It is void. Everything exists under divine will once more. Thank God, LOL. Get a move on.
That is so unhinged.
Yup.
Thank God, LOL.
LOL. Yeah, so that's her surviving on colloidal silver and alcohol alone. And just
tell me
completely
she
falling
purple.
apart. Oh, she does. There's photos on the drive.
God.
So to reset and focus on all of their wellness, but specifically hers, because she was clearly sick, the group relocated from Colorado to the island of Kauai in Hawaii. There, she got even deeper down the appropriation and racism rabbit hole, claiming to be the Hawaiian goddess Pele.
Oh my
and this
God.
was, which is like an incredibly sacred part of like some indigenous Hawaiian cultures.
Yeah, it's not yours, lady.
It's not yours, no. So this was met with disgust and outrage from locals and indigenous Hawaiians who were protesting outside of the home that the cult was renting. And they were like relentless, like tossing eggs, like not letting them sleep. Like the protesters were there committed to this work.
Oh my God. They're only getting 4 hours a night anyway.
I know. And these protests were effective. Like they successfully drove these white fucks off of the island, and they moved back to Colorado after only 2 months in Hawaii. So shortly after their return to Colorado, Amy appeared on the Dr. Phil show.
Yeah, this is how I know about her.
To be confronted by family and former members of the cult. And that would be her last appearance online. Wow. So this is from drphil.com. When Amy Carlson, also known as Mother God, appeared on Dr. Phil in September of 2020, she vehemently denied that the group she was leading, Love Has Won, was a cult. Less than 8 months after what was to be... I know, exactly. Less than 8 months after what was to be her final television interview, Carlson's partially mummified corpse was found inside a mobile home at the group's headquarters in Moffett, Colorado.
Oh my God.
The body, according to reports, was allegedly missing its eyes, wrapped in a sleeping bag, and covered in Christmas lights.
Oh my God, that is so fucking creepy.
Yup.
Oh.
And this is still from drphil.com, so at the time this was written. A cause of death for the 46-year-old has not yet been released. The local news outlets are reporting that foul play was not suspected.
Okay.
Well, I mean, there's a reason. We'll get to it. So,
God.
What the fuck happened? Rolling Stone did an incredible, it's very, 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 very in-depth story about this cult and what happened. It's like, it would take me a couple hours to read it. It's like one of those really legit Rolling Stone articles.
I love those.
So I highly, highly, highly recommend like drawing a bath and reading that bad boy. But I have a small excerpt from it because they kind of talk about, they just very concisely put together what had gone down here. So Rolling Stone says, on April 28th, 2021, Miguel Lamboy walked into the Salida Police Department and told authorities that they would find an enshrined mummified corpse, formerly Amy Carlson, at his home.
Formerly Jesus, formerly Marilyn Monroe.
Formerly Marilyn Monroe,
Joan of Arc.
Cleopatra, at his house in Crestone, Colorado. Officers documented Lamboy's full report in an affidavit in which his association with the group is downplayed, describing the followers living in his house off and on for years as people who temporarily needed a place to stay. He apparently had no knowledge of Amy's death or how her corpse, she died in California, ended up in his Colorado home.
Oh, Jesus.
Mr. Lamboy stated that he got up this morning, April 28, 2021, and left Denver, Colorado, reads the affidavit. Mr. Lamboy stated that he left Denver and went to Buena Vista, Colorado, and then returned to his residence. Mr. Lamboy stated that is when he found a deceased female, whom he knew to be Amy. When Saguchi County police officers arrived at Lamboy's house in Crestone, they found Carlson immediately. They could see the twinkling, multicolored makeshift shrine from down the hallway.
Like a Christmas tree.
Yep. The scent of sage hung in the air, according to an officer on the scene.
More appropriation.
Yep. The room was decorated much like a child's bedroom with rainbows and hearts and stars. A few stuffed bunny toys perched atop the mantle above Carlson's body as if keeping vigil. She sat atop a bed wrapped in what appeared to be a sleeping bag and decorated with Christmas lights. Her body was in an advanced state of decomposition.
So was
her
she
eyes,
like sitting up in the bed?
Yeah.
Like propped up against the wall?
Yeah, like with pillows.
Oh my God, that's even creepier. Oh, This reminds me of the last scene in Hereditary.
Yeah. Her eyes had deteriorated to the point that they appeared to be missing entirely. So they weren't removed. They had just rotted away.
Shriveled out.
Yep.
Little raisins.
And the area around the empty sockets had been dusted with glitter makeup.
Oh! Post-mortem?
Yep.
Oh, that is so fucking gross.
Her lips had receded, causing her teeth to protrude from her mouth. She was shockingly thin. Her skin was blue, though authorities wouldn't have known that her skin had already begun turning blue over the previous few months because of the silver she was drinking. And so this quote freaked me the fuck out. So she had already turned blue, but the cops that showed up there didn't know that. And one of them said, quote, "Wow, they painted her."
Oh my God, I just had a visceral reaction.
That's how purple she was. And like, I don't have any post-mortem photos of her, mortem photos, because I don't do that. But if you look on the drive, like there are pictures of her very soon before her death. And she is skin and bones, and she's like purple gray.
Her lips are already...
Yeah. She does look like she's been painted.
She looks already dead. This one of her in this like blow up pool.
In the bath or whatever she's in. Yeah. It's really scary.
God. I didn't know this part of it.
She was really fucking sick.
Yikes.
Really, 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 really sick.
The shrine and the glitter.
Yeah. They were like, keep caring for her in the shrine. They put her makeup on. So
this is so fucked.
I know.
Oh my God.
So it was determined that Amy had died at the age of 45 or 46, in an RV park outside of Shasta Mountain in California. So she died out in California.
With the lemurs.
Yep. Though she told her followers during her declining health that she had, quote, some form of cancer, the coroner's report did not find any cancer. What they did find was, quote, global decline in the setting of alcohol abuse, anorexia, and chronic colloidal silver ingestion, which, as we know from Kenyon's case, if you ingest too much of it, it causes organ failure, heart failure, like it could kill you.
It's a chemical that it's not supposed to be in your body.
Mm-hmm. So she was not eating. She was drinking around the clock and, like sustaining herself on booze and colloidal silver. And it killed her. She probably had a heart attack.
Or
most likely.
Organs just like fucking melted.
Right. Exactly. So she had essentially like starved to death. Her followers, believing that she had ascended to the fifth dimension outside of Shasta Mountain, then packed her up and drove her to Colorado, where they erected a shrine to their ascended god and lived with her for weeks. In the weeks leading up to her death, Amy had gone down to about 85 pounds in weight.
Oh my God.
And her followers were like providing her alcohol around the clock because that was all she wanted.
Oh my God.
She was also, as we see in the photos, completely purple from her silver intake. So like you could see it all there how she died.
So
that's why there's no foul play.
Where was she mummified in that sleep? I know I'm not supposed to ask you questions. So she's sitting up on this bed in the sleeping bag at this home in Colorado.
Yeah.
Was she there and in that position since the time she was freshly dead?
Yes. They had like put her, I think they'd only moved her to take her out of the mobile home and into the house. So like she's wrapped up and partially mummified. She'd probably like, her eyes are missing. So she probably decomposed considerably in the face and neck. And then where she was like wrapped and protected by the sleeping bag where that partial mummification could have taken place would be my assumption.
So this homeowner didn't notice, smell, or anything?
Oh, no. He absolutely knew because he was part of the cult.
Oh,
and he
okay.
he intentionally downplayed his role and participation in this group. But he was fully in the cult.
Okay. That
and
makes
like
a lot more
his
sense.
house had been headquarters for this cult for like 10 years.
Got it.
So yeah, he was just like, oh yeah, no, like I let some people couch surf here.
One of them was purple. I don't know.
Yeah, it was the weirdest thing. And then, I was about to leave and I noticed a dead body in our house. So before I go to Denver, thought I'd stop here and let you know. It's and then he just took off.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So this guy was totally in on it. So as Amy Carlson never saw a doctor, it's unclear what caused her initial health problems or whether her death could have been prevented with medical treatment. I think it's pretty safe to assume it could have been. Mm-hmm. One video from October 2020 shows cult members Aurora and Hope discussing Amy's request to be taken to a hospital. Quote, there's been moments that mom has asked us to take us to a 3D hospital, and we're like, nope, Aurora said.
A 3D hospital? Wow.
Yeah, because we're in the third dimension.
Right.
And they only go to only use a G5 phone.
Do they skip the fourth dimension?
Yep. I don't think it matters.
Oh.
She's not here. She doesn't care.
She doesn't even go here.
Yeah, she doesn't even go here. When confronted about this, they claimed that Amy was joking, and that when she said, take me to a 3D hospital, and that she had made it very clear that she never wanted to be taken to a 3D hospital, and had even signed documents to that effect. Former members who were still following the daily live streams even called the police to try and get a wellness check performed when group members in the videos were describing Amy's condition, saying that her eyes were rolling back in her head and she was having trouble staying awake.
Ugh.
Now, do I feel bad for Amy? No. She's a fucking white supremacist, anti-Semitic, cult-leading, psycho, horrible fucking person.
No, but do I want to watch someone actively die on a live stream?
Precisely. Exactly. So, I don't feel bad for her, but it's really fucked up that this whole group was just
she's
complicit
ascending
in this. Right. It's just it's a fucked up thing.
Yeah.
So the 7 Love Has Won members were charged in April 2021 for abuse of a corpse, as well as child abuse allegations for abuse against children that were in that cult because their fucking parents were in it. Mm-hmm. And they spent that whole summer of 2021 waiting for a trial, but the case was dismissed in September of 2021 after the coroner's report and the investigation concluded. So they just didn't. They were like, well, they were in this cult. Yeah, they said a bunch of fucking racist and anti-Semitic shit, but it's the internet and they didn't kill her. So we're just going to toss out this whole thing.
Well, yeah, they're not guilty of murder, but they're
right.
Okay, whatever.
Yeah.
I know it comes down to evidence and all that shit, so.
Yep. Well, and also they're all white. It's evidence. The evidence didn't support it, but also the whole fucking system is perpetuating it. But whatever. Mm-hmm. So the current father god at the time of Amy's death was a man named John Castillo, who formed a second group called Joy Reigns, but not Joy Reigns like a kingly reign. It's Joy Reigns, rains down from the sky.
Yeah.
I think it's supposed to be a double entendre.
Okay.
But it's stupid. It's basically the same thing as Love Has Won. And according to Rolling Stone, quote, Love Has Won in all of its new forms, including these offshoots, continues to draw in people, receive donations, and sell products.
It's all about money, period.
Yeah, always. They continue to sell etheric surgeries, which they advertise as still being performed by Amy, albeit from the 5th dimension.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
The 5D Full Disclosure team also continues to work on its long-planned Crystal Schools charter school program.
Oh, good. Get the kids in there.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Especially with a child abuse allegation.
Oh my God.
Yep.
Well,
so that's me, Kiss.
That was horrific, and I will never unsee.
I know.
The purple corpse. Oh, they painted her with glitter around the eye sockets.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Can you even imagine?
I am imagining. That's the problem.
Yeah. Yeah. You're welcome, honey.
Incredible.
Yep. Lady cults.
Wow. Lady cult leaders. That was a fucking doozy. Thanks,
Nuts.
Lindsay.
Yeah. Thanks a lot, Lindsay. You're the real McCoy.
Shout out to Lindsay McCoy and all of the bays. Also, shout out to that person working in Guantanamo Bay.
Oh, God. Yes. Shout out for that email. So amazing.
Incredible. Blessings. Well, thank you for listening, and we will see you next week.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to Wine and Crime. Our cover art is by Kala Yip, music by Phil Young and Corey Wendell, editing by Jonathan Camp. Check out our website and blog at wineandcrimepodcast.com. You can also follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Wine and Crime Pod. If you have questions, answers, or recommendations to share, email us at wineandcrimepodcast@gmail.com. Episodes are available on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Google Play, basically wherever you get your favorite podcasts. And if you like the show, please rate, review, and subscribe on Apple Podcasts. It is the best way to spread the word. If you'd like to show your support, visit our Patreon page to keep this podcast and the wine flowing. Cheers!